Welcome back to the Story Game Podcast, Episode 8. Wendy. Wendy is our friend from the film school. Say hello, Wendy.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
I'm their friend from the film school.
Yeah, this is sort of a recurring joke at this point, I feel like, because we've only had one guest so far who didn't go to USC, and only one other guest who went to USC but didn't go to the film school. And that episode was 2 episodes ago when Arjun and I each had our girlfriends on. But yeah, welcome to the Story Game. I'm your host, Aman, and I'm with my co host, Arjun. This is another very special episode because it's our second episode over Zoom and our first guest who's not in the same continent as us, which is great.
Woo!
Yeah, Wendy's currently studying in Manchester, so she's she's coming to you from across the pond. Um, Super exciting. We met Wendy on the set of a film where we frequently played the story game. Actually, Arjun and I were working as set constructors on a film for the film school, and this is one of the times we really sort of tested out this podcast and really decided a lot of its rules.
Yeah.
That's so cute. I just remember there's this running bit on that set where I kept asking everyone, do you hate women? Or do you think women deserve rights?
And I kept saying no because I
Yep.
firmly believe that women do not deserve rights.
No, women belong in the kitchen.
No.
Yeah,
Please.
no,
If Wendy, that's out of line on this podcast. We don't do that here.
Gender roles, here we go.
No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, did we ever play the Story Game Podcast with you? Or not the Story Game Podcast, but did we
the
play the
story-
Story Game on
I
the
don't
set of
think
the order?
so.
So we
Not
played-
on set.
I think
Okay.
while we were on set, Wendy might have had a lot more responsibility than we did. And
That's
she was
true,
Probably
yeah.
busy while the two of us were goofing off and playing the story game with whoever we could find. But yeah, no. So this game, for those who are tuning in for the first time, is a game that Arjun and I started playing in 2019 when we were working together, and we had to find ways to pass time on our long commute from home to work. And then we sort of brought it back to LA. We honed it on the sets while we were at the film school, and then Arjun had the bright idea to turn it into a podcast, and here we are. The story game has 3 simple rules. The first one is that the main crux of the story has to be entirely true or entirely false. You can't change one small detail. For example, you say your t-shirt was red, but your t-shirt was actually blue, because that's not really a lie, and that really doesn't change the story. The second rule, Arjun will tell you, is
The second rule is a very important rule that says that the story cannot be either too short or too long, which means, we're not looking for a quick sentence or two of an incident that happened, and we're not looking for crazy long, autobiography or something. We're looking for the perfect arc where, something happens, you overcome some challenge, whatever happens, and just basically the perfect length for our listeners. Yeah. And then rule number 3.
the third rule is you can't tell somebody else's story and claim it as your own. And yeah, that's basically it. Very simple. 3 rules. We encourage our guests to ask questions, as will we. And yeah, let's get started. Another thing I would have added if this was not a podcast on Zoom is that usually we have a slight punishment slash incentive for our guests, where depending on how they feel about this, we have our guests, if they lose or win, because some people want to do this, eat a cricket. But because Wendy isn't with us in person, we can't actually offer her any crickets to eat.
Oh my
Um,
God, wait, do I get a gift if I win the game?
Well, if you were here
Oh.
with us, you would have had the gift of choosing whether you wanted to eat the cricket or not, basically.
We'd have to postage a cricket to you or something, right?
Oh my goodness. Well, I would take it if I was thinking I should get it to the UK.
But you do get bragging rights, and if you top our leaderboard, you become, the most prestigious name on our wall of fame, which is right now held by a friend of yours and a previous guest of ours, Diksha, who was with us during episode 3.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, well, not surprisingly, um, interestingly, she was our only other guest on Zoom. So maybe coincidentally, that's the word
That's
I
the
was
word you're
looking
looking
for.
for.
Yeah. So maybe you have big shoes to fill, Wendy.
Well,
And her
my
point
poker
total,
face. You
yeah,
can
and
only see
her
this on Zoom.
the point total, her point total to beat is 5 points, without double points. So sometimes if our guests are struggling, we give them double points in the second round. And I believe we've given every other guest except for Diksha double points, and she still somehow managed to get out on top. So
Yeah. But yeah, if you win, you'll make it to the wall of fame. If you lose, you'll make it to the wall of shame. Most
Wow.
most people are on the wall of shame right now.
yeah.
It's a
That's
tough
cool.
world out there.
And the lowest scorer, which in my opinion is as important as the highest scorer, is another person who worked on the order, I believe,
Oh yeah.
which was Cade Hughesby, who was our very first guest on the podcast, who only managed to get 1 point. So 1 is the score to beat if you don't want to be last, and 5 is the score to beat if you want to be number 1.
Okay, so no one has scored 0 points yet.
Not yet.
Oh
You
my
could be the
goodness.
first.
I could be the pressure's on.
Yeah.
Diksha could be the best and I could be the worst.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so right now, Wendy, you're not only representing all participants on Zoom, you're also representing the entire continent of Europe. So yeah.
Yeah. Does UK still count
Well,
as like a part of Europe though?
so it's still a part of the continent. It's not a part of the union, right?
Okay.
Let's
So
say politically it's not part of it, and geographically
Geographically it is.
it
it
is.
is.
Yeah,
We don't
as
care
someone
about
who's been living
politics.
here. No. Okay, so Europe. If I fail, Europe fails.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so should we get started?
Let's get started. And I believe this time Arjun will be going first.
Okay, cool. So this story happened to me when I was in 5th grade. I was participating in various extracurricular activities in my new school, which was St. Mary's School. I didn't know a lot of kids there, and I was trying to kind of get to know everyone. And we didn't have a lot of extracurricular activities, but we had this one thing, which was an annual day play. And what it was basically was that once a year, there'd be kind of like a big performance, a play, a dance, something set up for all the parents, just to show that the school had some culture, when it really didn't. It was mostly just studies and like mugging up stuff. I don't know if mugging up is a word in America, but it means memorizing everything in a horrible way. Yeah. But anyway, so it was an annual day function, and I was taking part in the play, and I was in the 5th grade. And so what they do is they'd give all the roles to, they'd give all the main speaking roles to the bigger kids and stuff, and they'd obviously carry the play. And then the younger kids would be like props, kind of, I mean, I'm sure there's a similar scene in this thing like I remember Cade told a similar story about this. Why are you looking like that?
Is the word you're looking for like background actors or like scenery? Yeah, not props, Arjun.
Yeah.
Won't pick you up.
Yeah, I think background actors is a better word.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, we were props or background actors.
Yeah.
What prop were you?
So okay, yeah. So let me get to that. But basically the story of the play was it was about some birds or something, and there was this main character bird who was like in the 8th or 9th grade, and he went around to all these different bird like residences, and he like was like getting knowledge or something from each one of the bird residences or something
what was this play called?
I don't know, bro. Look, I was in 5th grade, and I'll tell you how irrelevant I was to the play in a second. You'll get it. So I didn't even know the story. I'd kind of just, go to skip class and also like, hang out with people that were in the play. But so
you skipped class in 5th grade.
I wasn't I wasn't skipping class, like I wasn't bunking class. We call it bunking. I was just kind of like, participating in something so I wouldn't have to study. You
He
know what I
he
mean?
used the play as an excuse to get out of class, basically.
Yeah, and it was legal, like the teachers knew.
Legal.
um anyway, it was I was like one of the third destinations for the bird, third, fourth, something like that. And I was an owl, okay? I was a group of like 5 owls, and it was such a small cutscene. There was a narrative voiceover of like, and then the bird went to the owls where he learned the gift of wisdom, and we'd fly out onto the stage, flap our wings around, and then just like look at each other like that, talk to, just pretend we're in a parliament. It's a parliament of owls, right?
What were your lines?
A court of owls.
A court of owls. What my lines? I didn't have any lines. That's the point. I just flapped out onto stage with 6 other like fifth graders, and then we'd sit down and go like, pretend we're talking, move our hands around and stuff, and that's it. Then we'd fly off stage, and then that was my entire part in the play. Super insignificant in a basically probably 1 hour play. That was my 15 seconds of fame, right? But this is the story part of it. The story part of it is on annual day. We got all dressed up in these weird, silly looking costumes. Okay. And that's the point in it. The silly looking costumes were the worst part of it. There were these shiny gray costumes. We did not look like owls. We looked like Teletubbies with like extra baggy clothes. Like, it was ridiculous. And I knew I looked ridiculous. And I didn't want to go out on stage. Like, I really didn't want to go out on stage. So, um, basically, when we went to backstage, I decided that I was going to slip into the back curtain and just let the scene play out, and then just go into, like, my group would go out on stage. I'd slip into the back curtain. I wouldn't go out on stage. They would do their little flappy the thing and talk to each other. And then when they exit stage, I'd just rejoin them, and I wouldn't have to be a part of this play whatsoever. And I did it. I did that. I did just that, where they went out on stage. I diverted from the group. I slipped into the curtain, and I hid there for whatever 15 seconds was there, and then they flapped out, and then I rejoined them, and nobody noticed at all. And my parents had come to watch the play. And afterward, they asked me like, "Oh, Arjun, so what were you? You were the owl in the play." And I was like, "Yeah, I was there. Did you see me? I was the guy flapping my wings or whatever." And little did they know, I actually went behind the curtain and slipped out. My other owls did notice me, and they did notice me do that. So, and they were asking me, but whatever. I just brushed it off. And yeah, that's my little story.
That
Wow.
That's
Wow. You just didn't perform. Did you perform ever again after that, or have you performed before? Like, was that your first time, I guess, not really on stage, on stage?
Yeah, that was my first time on stage, not on stage. And then after that, I did a couple things here and there in school, kind of minor stuff. And then I did, Oman actually did a play for USC, and I had a bit of a role in that. So, yeah, but I do have a little bit of stage fright. Even for Aman's play, I was kind of forgetting my lines and stuff. So,
my favorite part of that whole story is how you can just, whether the story is true or false, but you can just tell how inexperienced Arjun is, or how he just didn't pay attention if he did this play, because he called it props. He said a narrative cut scene, as if that's what you call it on stage. He forgot the word for wings. He said, yeah, from the side of the stage, and then we went back out to the side of the stage. And it's just like, it's amazing. Especially because Wendy was a theater major, and I
oh
was
yeah,
it all throughout high school. So
you guys must be burning up inside. I really didn't give a shit about this stuff. I was just kind of like there for the ride.
How long did you have to rehearse this for?
Dude, months. It was kind of ridiculous. And dude, it was no piece of art, let me tell you. Looking back, like, there was like a theater person directing it. and they were horrible. Like it was clearly a really bad story, like these birds. And I was there for 15 seconds on stage, but I literally had to rehearse it like for months. Like every time I'd just have to flamp out on stage, sit down, pretend I was talking to these owls, and then go back. Like that's all I did. And then I'd be there for hours of the day.
Who was the lead? What type of bird was the lead actor?
I don't know, bro. I know that there's a villain bird who is not a. Is there a bird called a hoopoe or something? Hoopoe.
No idea.
Maybe that
Yeah.
was a character. I think it was maybe a peacock or something. But there was a song where the peacock was really obsessed with itself, and it was like someone was like hoopoe. You need to be.
Wow.
Sorry, I was so checked out of it, dude. I was so checked out of
You know
this.
what this sounds like to me? Have you guys heard of the rainbow fish?
What?
So this is a very famous story and a play. I've seen the play, and it's about this fish who's like, has rainbow scales, and he goes around meeting other fish, and it's about him becoming less self-absorbed. And the way I just described it, about like a peacock who's self-absorbed, and he goes around meeting birds, and then he has to,
And
So
learning wisdom.
yeah.
possibly it could be this, but I don't think it was this because the peacock wasn't the main character.
Oh,
The
okay.
peacock
Sorry, I thought you said that peacock was the main character.
no,
Okay.
my bad if I said that, but it was like the king bird's like right hand man or something, and he was really self-obsessed or something like that, bro. I don't know.
What was the story? Like what happened to the kingbird? Do you remember like what the kingbird and the right hand man peacock?
The so it had something to do with like I really don't know. Like honestly, like I'm trying to like so the game is I'm trying to convince you this is true. And if I was faking this story, I would be able to come up with a story for this kingbird thing, but I genuinely don't know what the kingbird thing. I
I
don't
need
know
to
what the
just-
story was.
Wendy, don't buy into that because he might just be playing you. Okay, that's what
Yeah,
it's
I'm trying
So-
to see whether he's like telling a true story really terribly, so I would think that he's lying, or he's like lying to me about the story and he cannot come up with the answer for these questions. Like which one is it? I'm really conflicted right now.
Yeah, I mean, feel free to ask more questions.
Let me fill in some details if you want. Okay, so there's this dude named the Peacocks guy. His name was Keith D'Souza, and he was
The actor.
yeah, the actor's name was Keith D'Souza, not the bird one.
I'm so confused.
I already told you his name was Hoopo or something. Is Hoopo a bird? It might be a bird also, bro.
What?
Wait, let me just quickly Google
I don't know
if
why this
Hoopo.
is turned into like a
Hypo
bird podcast.
I mean, to be fair, if you're 5, I mean, you're not 5, you're in 5th grade,
He's 10
Yeah.
or 11.
10, 11, you probably don't remember much. That could
Yeah.
be true. But also, you could be just lying about this because you clearly don't know what theater is. And I feel like you're lying, you will do some research.
I do know what theater is, by the way.
Yes,
Yeah.
all the props in the narrative cutscenes.
Cutscenes, let's do it.
Yeah.
The things on the side.
Side, yeah.
The wings, yeah, the wings. Okay, my bad for not knowing the words. But yeah, that guy's name was Keith D'Souza. The head boy there was a head boy, head boy, like Percy and Harry Potter.
Like a prefect, but like the head.
Yeah, the head boy was he was the king bird. I remember that for sure because I was like, whoa, head boy king. And it was cool, like a cool.
Who
little
was the
thing.
lead character?
I don't remember that, to be honest.
Wait, where was this?
This was in my school, my new school, St. Mary's, and then
In
in
India.
India, yeah, in
Yeah.
India.
St. Mary's. What was your favorite subject in school?
Oh, this is a question. Like, St. Mary's is not a real school. Like, I never went to St. Mary's. No, my favorite subject was probably, maybe English. because we'd read stories in English.
That tracks. That tracks. I feel like every kid who ended up in like an art school, their favorite subject in school was English. And for us at least, because that was the most like arts and humanities subject we had.
Yeah. Imagine I said like, no, my favorite subject is biology. I love learning about fucking mitochondria.
No, see if it was biology, then you would know all the names of all the birds, right?
Oh, clever. Clever. Aman is clever.
Mm. Did you make any friends during this play?
Yeah, I did actually. Like I made a bunch of friends from the other classes.
Like
Yeah.
who? Name some of them.
Yeah, who's your best friend?
My best friend from school was Neil Parulekar, but he wasn't in the play. But the guys who I made friends with in the play was this dude named Abhinav Narayan, Ashish Iyer, this
Were they
dude
all-
named Rishabh Arora.
Were they all owls?
Yeah, these guys were owls.
So you only befriended the owls.
No, I hung out with the other guys as well. Like it was cool. We used to play this game called Goal Spot. Do you know this game, Wendy?
I don't think so.
It's this game where you just jump around and you try and step on other people's feet. It's pretty cool.
It's that I genuinely we could spend the entire podcast talking about Goal Spot. It's such a good game, but
It's
so I
a
will
really
not
intense
start.
game.
Yeah.
And
I
the
will not.
champion of Goal Spot was Krish Arora, who was also, I think, no, he wasn't an owl. He was something else, but he was in the play.
Okay. So none of the owls talked.
No, not a single owl talked. It was 5 or 4 smaller owls and 1 big owl, and we all swooped down on stage, and then we all sat down and looked up at the bigger owl and pretended to talk about something. And that's it.
Okay.
No
Was there-
lines.
And yeah, who was the big owl?
He was just some senior. I didn't really get to know him much. He wasn't very open to talking to juniors.
Okay. And you said one person noticed that you weren't on stage. Who was that?
No, not one person. All my owls, my fellow owls, were like, "Where the fuck were you, bro?" Like we all went out on stage, and and I was like, "Oh no, my teacher called me or whatever," and they're just like, "Oh okay, whatever."
And they believed you?
Yeah, but nobody else knew. Like none of my teachers noticed, obviously, or even if they did, I guess they didn't care enough to bring it up.
Was there like a musical element to this play?
Yeah, there was. That's why I remember the Hoopo thing, because it was like a song that was like, Hoopo, look at your beauty, and then a bunch of stuff like that. Not much of a musician myself.
Wow.
yeah.
What was the most memorable part of this experience? Was that it?
Mostly.
Was skipping the play?
Yeah, obviously that was it. But I remember like some of the like, the images in my head, like especially the music part of it. Like I still have this song in my head. I could sing the whole song, but I'm kind of embarrassed to do it now because
No. You have
both
to.
of you laughed at me.
You can't say that.
No,
and
you
not
have
sing
to
the-
sing it now. Yeah,
Yeah.
please.
I laughed
please.
at you because the line you sang was "Hoopo, look at your beauty."
What's
Not
wrong
'cause-
with that? No, I'm not singing it now.
No,
You guys
no,
are too
no,
mean
no,
to me.
no. And that's what it was just out of context, which is why I laughed. Now you have to sing it.
No, I'm not gonna sing it.
That's
bro.
what the audience wants, Arjun. You can't say you
You
remember.
have to.
I know. Okay, how about recount the lyrics for us then?
If Wendy wins the game, if Wendy wins
No,
this
no.
game,
Fine,
Then-
don't sing.
No, you have to do it right now.
Don't sing,
No.
but recount. You can't not answer. Recount the lyrics.
the lyrics were like, Hoopo, look at your beauty. Hoopo, look at your smile.
Give me the tune.
No, I'm not gonna do it. You guys both laughed at me. I'm too self-conscious now.
No,
But-
we laughed because it was fun.
Yeah.
No, I'm being bullied here right now, and I'm
No,
not
give
gonna
us.
have
Okay,
any of
fine. Don't sing. Give us more lyrics.
it. Hoopo, look at your beauty. Hoopo, look at your smile. I can't believe that you're not perfect, or something like that. I can't believe that you're perfect. And then it ended with a rhyme that I can't remember.
You said you remembered every word, and now you can't.
No,
you
I
can't
didn't
remember.
say I remember every word.
Where
I just
did he-
remember that one
Did he
thing.
not just say, "I remember the whole song. I can sing it for
Yeah,
you"?
you're like, I can sing the whole song right now. I was like, sing it.
I
Prove
can't
it
sing
to
the whole
us.
song. I can sing just that part. The Hoopo, look at my beauty. Hoopo, look at your smile, or something like that.
Wait, do it again.
No, I'm not. I'm not gonna be laughed at again. It was horrible.
Do you remember what you sang? Like the tune you just gave us?
Yeah, just why don't you sing that one line again? It's just like
No, you guys are bullying me now, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it.
that's just throwing a tantrum instead of playing the game.
You guys are trying to get me to sing instead of play. Wendy, what do you think? Is this true or false? This story?
Well, I want to hear you sing before I decide.
That's fair. I agree. I agree.
I'm
I
not
agree.
gonna sing again. Now it's a whole thing. Now I
Yeah,
feel
That's the
which is why-
deciding
self-conscious.
factor.
Yeah.
No, if you get it right, if you're able to guess it right, then I'll sing my 2 lines with the tune. How about that?
I don't think this is a fair
What if
negotiation.
I could choose to not sing, okay? I'm giving you something. You better get it right.
see that's okay. He's not answering a question, Wendy. You should take this into account when you make your decision. There's some
Yeah.
sketchiness with this one.
Okay. What do you
This
think,
is a little
Wendy?
sketchy. I'm gonna say you're lying.
You think
Yeah.
I'm lying?
I feel
Okay.
like I want to hear you say, and you didn't sing it to me. Then I feel like you're dodging the question.
Hmm.
And prop person, but also the prop person could be, a curveball. Like how bad you're telling the story could be a way for you to deceive. This is a hard decision. I feel
gotta
like I want
lock
to
in
hear
an
you
answer.
saying. I want to hear you say, and then I can know.
How is that gonna make a difference?
It'll make a lot of difference.
Okay, I'm gonna turn off my video though, because I don't wanna be looked at while I'm singing. Hoopo, look at your beauty. Hoopo, look at your smile. I can't believe something perfect. Da 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 da.
Wow, bravo.
Thank you. Thank
So
you, everyone.
good.
Thank you.
That was phenomenal.
Now,
Since
do
you
you
sing
believe
the
me?
song now, I want to say I believe you.
Yeah.
Do you believe him?
This is
Or
a
do you-
hard question. I'm gonna say sure. Why not?
You have to lock in an
Don't
answer.
say. Think about this. Don't say sure. Why not? Just
Aman,
Okay.
stop trying to push it in some direction. I can see that you want this to go in a certain direction.
No,
Are
no,
you
no.
trying to have me say no?
I'm not,
Have you
I'm
heard
not.
this story before, Armand?
See, I can't tell you if I have or not because that could influence your decision.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna try and get you to. I'm not trying to get you to say no. It's because the reason Arjun did this last round, and it makes sense. Basically, you said false, and now you're saying sure. Why not? So I don't want you to just do it just because like think about it, make a
Uh-huh.
decision both ways. That's all I can
Armand,
say.
what do you think?
I can't tell you yet,
Yeah, you
Like,
have to lock in your answer, and then
and then
Aman
I can
can
tell
discuss
you.
his thoughts.
Yeah.
okay. I'm gonna say this is a true story.
Are you
Okay.
locking it in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now Aman can tell us all his thoughts.
So I think it's false. Oh, well, I thought it was false. I do think the whole song debacle was too sketchy. Unless he's like accidentally playing like 4D chess. Because he definitely said I can sing the whole song. And then
And
when we
if I
called
said
him
that,
out
I
on
did
it,
not want. I did not want to say that. I just meant I could still sing it to this day.
and then also when he sang it, which beautiful voice, but it sounded a little bit like a song from Aladdin for some reason. It gave me Prince Ali vibes for some reason. So
That's
maybe
a totally different tune, bro. But
maybe
I honestly think they
sub-
might have adapted some popular.
subconsciously he's feeling that. And then I don't know. That it seems like the kind of story that like Arjun had enough information about the play, so he just sort of invented this because they definitely don't do play practice for months. Like the maximum you do it for is like a 2 month thing before annual day, and that's also saying a lot. And they usually keep you after school, So there's a lot here. I might be very wrong, and I feel like I'm very wrong. So your guess might be true, but I
Well,
would say false.
Aman, let me tell you, you are very wrong
Oh,
because Wendy
crazy.
got it right. It is a true
Oh
story.
yeah. No, the second you agreed to say, I was like, I think that was the moment.
I've been playing, dude. Well done, yeah. Well done, Wendy, dude.
Yeah, well done,
Yeah,
Wendy.
wow. First, you
Honestly,
really tried to deceive me. I'm like, let me think closely.
that's good though. I mean, shit, I didn't think I realized now that the song makes sense to have changed your opinion because it's a real song. Sounds legit, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, you did sing it kind of the same the second time, so it's like you knew the tune.
Yeah,
Yeah, I feel like if you just lied about it, if you just come up with the lyric, you won't be able to sing it again.
yeah,
That's how I was.
That's fair.
Yeah.
true.
That's good guess, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, well
I've been
played.
playing. You have 1 point, so you're on
Wow.
last, right?
I'm now last.
Yeah,
No.
you've already made it to tying with
Ooh.
last. Cool. So Wendy, it's your turn to tell us a
Mhm.
story.
My turn now to tell a story. Okay.
Yeah.
So, a little bit background story for the real story. So, I went on a trip to Russia with like a class at USC sophomore year. It's called the Trans-Siberian Experience. Pretty much, we take a train from Moscow, and it's like a 4-day train to Siberia. And we went to this city called Irkutsk. That was our destination. And it's like near Lake Baikal, if you know Russia. And during this big long ride, we had like so many different little stops here and there. And we have, yeah, like usually a stop is like an hour or sometimes like 2 hours, 3 hours long, and usually like very quick stops. So we're on this train. I was with my really good friend Ben and Aaron. They're like my buddies on this trip. There are some random people. There are like about 20 people on this trip. And then it's like day 2 of our journey. We're like, oh my God, what if like we go get really drunk? You know, Russian are known for being drunk. Literally, there's this guy on our train that got like in trouble with the police for drinking. And then we got off the train at this stop. I don't know exactly the name of the town because you're all Russian. But then we tried to find a bar and we walked in town. We walked kind of far away, but like, oh my God, like it'll be fun. We have 2 hours. And
So
then we
what
walked,
what before you go on, what month was this in?
it was in March, spring break.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this was day 2, you said?
Day 2 of our
A
train
train.
ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been in Moscow for 2 days or day and a
Okay.
half. And then
Okay.
day 2 of the 4-day trip.
Okay.
We're on our
Were all the
way.
kids from USC?
Yeah, they're USC. They're all like from different majors. A lot of like IR people, and like military people, which were really interesting. And then when we found like a bar in town, it was like early in the afternoon. We just started drinking, and then we kind of got a little bit too drunk. And then we're like, okay, maybe it's time to go back to the station. And then we're like, nah, we have time. It's only a 10-minute walk from the station. And it wasn't. We went too far in town. And then after probably like an hour or so, it's like, oh, we thought it was like an hour or so. But like, let's get back to the train station because we need to be on this train to get to Siberia. And then we walked back and our train left. So we're stuck in this town for like a few hours. We did go to the police being like, what the fuck? And then we just had to take a second train to Siberia. But our professor's really mad at us because we literally just missed the train to Siberia. But then we ended up making there on the second train. But then all my stuff was like on the previous train. So I had nothing with me for the next 2 days of the trip. But I made it to Irkutsk, where like our destination was, and then caught up with the group. And that's probably why I didn't get a good grade in this class.
So you missed the entire class basically.
Entire class, 2 days out of like, well, okay, like I missed the class in the sense that we did learn stuff on the train,
Yeah.
but they were just like fake lessons. We just on the train. So I just spent 2 days not with my class.
It's just you and your two. What are your friends' names again?
Ben, Wendell, and Aaron Sweeney.
What major is Ben?
They're both theater majors.
Okay, so it was just like literally your homies and you just vibing alone on a train.
Vibing alone the train, Russia. Yeah,
That's spectacular.
that was
Wait, so
us.
why didn't your professor think to contact you when the train was leaving, or maybe your other friends on the train didn't think that, oh, maybe three of our students are missing?
We
Hmm.
didn't have like a cell phone service, or at least I didn't have like a cell phone service. Yeah,
Hmm.
we've been just like a hotspot, like or Wi-Fi hopping on this whole trip. I didn't want to like open international plan because it was like super expensive. And then I'm like, I'll be fine. We'll just use Wi-Fi and
We're using like WhatsApp or something to communicate with people.
yeah,
Um,
our class had a group meet. Um,
Okay.
but we
Well,
just didn't
And
have
nobody
any
thought to text on the group me or something.
people did text on the group meet, but we just didn't see it because we didn't have like any Wi-Fi.
Oh,
We're getting drunk at the bar.
what was the class called again?
Trans-Siberia experience or the Trans-Siberia or Trans-Siberia is the name of the train.
What was your teacher's name?
Um, Tatiana
And how many credits was it?
too.
And so when you weren't going on this trip, did you have like a weekly class as well leading up to it?
Yeah, we had like regular classes every Tuesday, and they were like 3-hour classes, and we learned Russian. I still put Russian on my resume, or actually, I'm taking Russian right now in the UK.
say something in Russian.
Uh, Меня зовут Wendy, как вас зовут?
Come on, right? Did I guess that correctly? Did you ask me what my
Yeah,
name
yes,
was?
yeah, yeah.
Hey, look at me,
Да,
bro.
да.
Maybe I should put Russian on my resume.
Хорошо.
That's okay. That's that's where I end.
That's where I end.
Yeah, that's where my Russian stops.
What did you drink at the bar? Was it like just taking vodka shots or something, or what?
We were taking a lot of shots. Also, the alcohol was really cheap. So
Mm.
we took a lot of shots, and I had some beer. Um, yeah,
What was the best? How old are you?
I was 19, sophomore year. How old was I?
Yeah,
Oh my
19.
God, I was 19 years old. Holy fuck.
Well, yeah, I mean, drinking age in Russia is lower, right? So that
Drinking age in
tracks.
Russia is like once the second you're born, you're fed with vodka.
You know what? I buy it, dude. I really don't have any more questions. Like I'm sold. Like Wendy, if you fool me, props to you. I don't see any holes in the story. Like
I
yeah,
I don't know though. I feel like you really think like you'd miss the train and there'd be no, people trying to reach out or anything that wouldn't stop the train. I feel like it's a bit hard to stomach.
maybe
But they
you're wrong.
couldn't stop the train. That's the thing. And this like train line like run pretty frequently. So we just had to wait for a few hours and get another train. But it
So you had
was
to
scary. I was like, what if I get stranded in Russia and never get back?
I'm curious as to why your teachers wouldn't like get everyone off that train and just wait for the next train so you guys could all be together. But then maybe it's a cost thing. Maybe they have to buy double the tickets. Did you have to
We
pay? Did you have to pay for the train ticket?
Yeah, the second ticket, yes.
Oh,
Shit.
okay. Yeah.
Okay.
How much
Yeah.
was it expensive?
I don't remember exactly how much. I don't think the train ticket was that expensive. Like even the one we had before. Um, yeah, it wasn't that expensive. But it was
Hmm.
just the embarrassment. That's more expensive. Oh God.
What did your
I,
do your parents know this story?
yes.
What did they say?
They were just really mad at me. They're like, what if you get like human trafficked in Russia? I'm like, I'm not gonna get human trafficked in Russia.
That's
I
probably,
think
I don't know though. Russia feels like that's the place where human trafficking goes on.
yeah, I think my professor was just like really upset at us because
What was her name again?
her name Tatiana
Tatiana what?
Alkins. Oh God, I'm friends with her on Instagram. If you want to give her a follow.
Okay. Interesting. I literally just asked you that to see if you would stick to the name. or not, and you did. So
Oh,
Did she though? She didn't even know the last name of her professor.
she didn't say
Like,
the last name last time. She only said Tatiana last time.
yeah, no, but she didn't say like. I mean, she can't think of a last name. I don't know. It's sus. It's sus.
I
But what
buy
did you
it,
say?
dude.
What did you say her last name was?
it's like I can look this up right now.
No, no,
It's
don't
like,
look it up.
oh,
Just tell me what you thought her last name was.
God. It's like not a Russian last name because she married an American. Her name is Tatiana for short.
What
And
class was this?
the Trans-Siberian Experience.
Yeah, she said this to us 3 times.
Are you looking
Oh,
this
that was
up
the
right
name
now?
of the class. I thought that was the name of the trip.
No. That was the name of the
Oh, was it
class
okay?
and the
Was
trip.
it Akishina?
You can't
Tatiana
look
Akishina.
it up, Arjun.
Yeah,
Why can't I look it up?
You're looking
That's
this up.
cheating.
Yeah, that's
You can't Google things, dude.
Why not?
you told me not to Instagram
Yeah.
this, and then you now do this.
That's you can look it up after
Yeah.
the fact. You can't look it up during the story. That ruins the story.
Yeah, you can't like Google this.
Why not?
No,
Did
that's
I
I think
Google St. Mary's?
yeah, no, Arjun,
Okay.
that's a bio, bro. I think that you dock points for that.
Yeah, no.
I don't
points.
have any points to begin with.
-1 for that shit, bro. You can't look it
Yeah,
up.
exactly. Aman's my fucking ally here.
Damn, I'm just being bullied this episode.
No, this violates all the rules. You can't find evidence to back up whether it's true or
Mhm.
false. It has to be
Yeah.
Okay.
based on what she tells you.
Well, I was Googling things during my story.
Yeah, but that's because you were inventing the story. Or not
Okay.
inventing the story, right?
Yeah, you're trying to convince us.
Yeah, I can only go based on what you've told me. So I can't add extra information.
Yeah.
All right, fuck.
So
minus 1 point for
minus
me, I
1, I'm
guess.
not-
-1 point for you.
I think it's a true story, which I've been saying. So I'm gonna lock it true. Yeah.
I guess I can't lock in a point.
Yeah.
You
So
lost your point.
and
Okay.
I think Wendy gets another point for that.
Yeah, I do get a point. I should get a point from you trying to cheat.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
Oh
have
my
2 points
gosh.
now.
Oh my god, okay. All right, fine.
We've really bullied Arjun into this.
Yeah, I feel
Nothing for us.
terrible.
Okay, how about this? Instead of him getting a negative point, he just doesn't have the chance to win a point here, and you get a point for sure.
Okay, yeah, that's
I think
fair.
that's fair.
That's fair. I'll get a point, and Archie just no.
Doesn't get a point.
All right,
That works for
fine.
me. But I
Okay.
still want to hear like what you think, even though it doesn't really matter. It won't be any points.
I want to hear what you think, even though it doesn't matter whatsoever.
Exactly.
I think it's true. Well, yeah.
Okay.
I think it's true now because yeah, I believe this stuff, but I don't know. I didn't believe it before, so I guess it's fair
Yeah.
that you're docking my point.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. So is it time to reveal?
Uh,
It
Yeah.
is not a true story.
what?
What?
I did not miss
way.
a single train on that trip, even though I
Oh.
was drunk all of it.
Oh,
Well,
no way.
Then I feel like I shouldn't be
No,
docked a
no,
point.
no, you
As in, I still locked in true, but I don't think that it.
Well, so
No,
then it
your
doesn't matter.
answer
Then
didn't
it's-
matter. Your answer just didn't matter, Archie.
Yeah. Actually, then it doesn't matter at all because you, in any case, you're not getting minus point anyway.
Okay. Whatever. But that's cool that you fooled.
Both
I
of
fooled you
us.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it with Zoom, man?
Wow,
Diksha did it
Zoom
on
really
Zoom. You've
is the
done it.
way.
3 points, man. You have a 3-point lead. Arjun and I are both on 0. You're on course to break
You're
the
on
record.
course to the Diksha level.
Yeah, dude, imagine I don't want to jinx it, but from next episode onwards, we'll say the person to beat is Wendy, maybe.
Oh.
We'll see.
Okay.
Okay, damn, good story. Good story. A bit of controversy, which always sells.
Yeah,
So-
Arjun looking it up, but
Yeah.
my professor's name is actually Tatiana. I also genuinely don't know her last name. Oopsies, I'm sorry.
Was
if
it
you're
the last
listening
name
to
that I
this.
said though?
Yeah, I think it is. We just called her Tatiana. And she is indeed my
Instagram friend.
Instagram friend. Akishina. Okay, that sounds right. Well,
Yeah, there you go.
I don't think she'll be listening to this. So,
But what's crazy is I thought it was false before I looked it up,
Yeah, yeah.
and then I
Mm,
looked it up. So there you go. Maybe, it's okay to look up some stuff here and there.
No, no.
no, it's not okay to cheat.
Imagine if you do this
How
again,
is it
then you
cheating?
get minus points because you're adding extra information.
All right, fine, whatever, man. We'll discuss
Okay,
this later.
we will. Okay. So I'm gonna tell you a story about the time I got detained
You
in
got
the
what?
I got detained at the airport
Oh,
in the UAE. So as you can see, and for our listeners of the podcast, Wendy is looking at my pin collection, my enamel pin collection, which is hanging up on my door. And I so clearly have a very extensive collection, and I've been collecting pins for now over since like officially collecting pins since freshman year, second semester. So like early 2018 is when I started really collecting pins. And so I had about when the story took place, I definitely didn't have these many pins, but I had, maybe like 20 pins, 30 pins. So I had and I used to carry them around in this like little gold pouch my mom gave me. It was like a gold colored pouch, and every time I traveled, of course, I would take it back and forth with me because I wanted to wear a pin or whatever. And so this was after summer break, and I was flying back to LA. Um, this was the summer of 20, so it was after freshman year ish. So I was flying back. So I had bought some pins in LA and bought some pins in India. So I had about, maybe slightly less than 20. So I said 20, so maybe it was like 15, 17. But I had like enough to fill this little bag. And so um when I was flying back to India, I flew like Singapore Airlines or something, but now going back, I was flying Etihad. So there's a stop in the UAE, and what's cool about flying Etihad is the government, the UAE government or whatever, has like a deal with the American government, so you can do immigration at that airport. So once you land in LA, it's like you're on a domestic flight. You don't have to do immigration, and you can just pick up your bag and sort of head out. Um, and so I was flying back with two friends of mine, this kid, Dheriya, and my best friend, Nirali. And I was born in Washington, D.C., so I'm a US citizen. So you basically go through like a different security line and then a different immigration line. And then, and they were both Indian citizens, and so we could meet on the other end. Um, and I was, for some reason, which I didn't think should have been an issue, but basically, and I've done it like later and it hasn't been an issue, but I was carrying my pins in my carry-on luggage, in my backpack. Okay, so I have this little gold pouch in my backpack. And so the way it works is you go through security and then you do immigration, and then you get on your flight or whatever. So I was going through security in this separate line, and they flagged something in my bag, and I didn't know what it was. And the thing is, when I fly back from India, like I'm carrying a lot of stuff. So usually my backpack is like fun. Like I have a lot of my electronics. I have my Game Boy, I have my laptop, I have my phone chargers, my speaker, my PS4 controllers at the time. So I had a lot of shit in my bag, and so they like basically whatever they flagged me, and this like really terrifying guard comes up to me. He says, "Can I see your passport?" And I show him my passport. And, I'm like smiling or whatever. I'm really excited that I don't have to like go through this longer line because I'm a US citizen or whatever. And he's like, "Okay, you have to come with me." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Come with me. Leave your bag." And so they take me into this like back room, and it's like it was like a waiting area basically, and there were a bunch of benches, and I'm like a little scared. I have my phone with me, I have my like earphones and whatever was on me, but I don't have my backpack with me. And I I'm just waiting, and one thing that I found really weird, so there were two things. Okay, the first thing is you can see right now I have a bit of a beard, and my beard like back then it was slightly patchier. And usually I shave before I fly, just because I don't want to get like extra searched. Being a young brown man flying to America with a beard is a bit dicey in this climate. And like my cousin has quite a significant beard and he always gets extra searched. So usually I shave, but I didn't think my beard was that long. But I guess it was, and so I hadn't shaved. The second thing was the only other people in the room with me were brown dudes or white women. It was really weird. So there was a bunch of brown men and a bunch of white women, okay, in this like back room with me. And so anyway, I'm
Did the
waiting.
brown men have beards?
Most of them did, funny enough.
Mm.
So I'm just waiting in this room. I'm scared. I don't know what's happening. My friends are scared. They're like, "Where the fuck is Aman?" They're like, "You don't really have signal in this room." So I'm not getting any messages. I'm just listening to like my downloaded Spotify playlist or whatever. And uh, like I want to say like 20 minutes pass. And so my flight, like we were early, so I wasn't like, if they had kept me there for like an hour or two, I would have probably missed my flight. But like about 20 minutes pass, and then they call my name. And so they take me to the front. They take me to like a room attached to this room on the side. And there's like a guard there holding my backpack, and he's like going through my stuff. And he's like, "What is this?" And he takes out this like this gold pouch, and I'm like, "Oh, that pins, badges." And he's like, "What are you?" Then like I was like, like badge, like I wear them. And clearly, these small fucking metal spikes had like set off a frenzy in the security machine of my pins. And so they were all very confused. I don't know what they thought it was, like a weapon or something. I was gonna like pierce people with them or something. And then I had to like, I said, "Oh, can I show you? Can you like?" And then he puts them out on the table. And I'm like, "Oh, you see like a badge?" And he's like, "Oh, okay, cool." And then they just put all my stuff in. They sort of go through all my other stuff, and they say, "Okay, cool, cool, whatever." And then they just let me back. I just did security. Like they made me do like they like patted me down extra. Um and then I got through and I got on my flight. But yeah, so my pins, and then a few years after that I didn't carry my pins in my carry-on, and then after that I had. So what's weird is like I did security obviously to get onto the plane in India, and they didn't really stop my pins. So every country, every airport has like a different security protocol. And I've flown domestically with them. I've flown other airlines since, and I haven't had an issue. But yeah, maybe it was the fact that I had the pins. I was brown. I had my beard. A lot of things. But yeah, so that's the
And you're trying to
story.
skip the line.
Well, I wasn't skipping the line. I was just in the maybe they were like, "Oh, he's brown. He can't be American or whatever." I don't know. But yeah.
Okay, wow. What what did the room look like when you got brought, like the two rooms, the waiting area and then a little
So the
separate
way,
room? Describe
honestly,
this.
just it was like a plain room, just four walls. There was a desk on the front with like a security guard waiting, and there was just like a series of like benches. That was it. There was no windows or anything. It was like off on the inside of the airport, and it was right near the security area.
Mm. What how many people were in the room with you?
Uh, uh, I like maybe like somewhere between 10 and 20. I didn't really count, but like yeah,
10 and 20 people?
like between 10 or 20. Yeah,
That's a lot of people.
yeah.
You need a big room for that.
Yeah, it was a pretty big room. Like it was a significantly sized room. The second room wasn't that big, but this one was like significantly sized.
How many
What was
white? Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna ask how many
Yeah.
white women were there?
Honestly, I don't know. Maybe it was like 12. Like there were like four or five other brown dudes, and I want to say four or five other white people, but I might like white women, but I might be wrong. Like
You said there were 20 people and they're only.
I said between 10 and 20. I don't. I,
10 and
I
20.
genuinely don't know the specific number. Like it wasn't like there were like five people. It was a small room. No, like there was like you know, enough people for me not to like remember everyone's face, except for the
So
fact that
these white women, did they have beards too?
some of them maybe. I don't know. I'll be honest. I was too scared to really focus on their
Mm.
looks.
Do you remember what the I guess security guy who like checked your bag looked like? Like what was he like?
He was scary for sure, but he was just like I don't know. I think he had facial hair. But he was obviously like Middle Eastern. But
So he also had a beard, huh?
yeah, like he had
A
a
lot of
mustache
beards in
maybe.
this story.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Did he say his name?
I don't. Maybe he like mom. I don't remember his name.
Okay. And what did you show him all your pins? Like what?
Yeah, I was just like, their badges or whatever, and I think I picked up like the one that's like I got for graduating high school. And I was like, see, like a badge. And he was like, oh, okay.
Oh, so you took the pins out of the golden pouch.
Like he put them on the table and he was like, I was like,
Oh, he put the pins on the table.
yeah. I think when he saw them, I think, it's not tough to figure out that they're badges. And I was like, oh, badge. And he was like, yeah.
Okay.
I was saying pins and he was like, I was like, badge. There's clearly like a discrepancy in the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you fly with like pins with you on carry-on from that point on?
So the next few flights I avoided it, but then since then I've like forgotten to put it in my big bag and last minute put it into my carry-on, and I haven't had an issue since. I think it was just the UAE airport, and I haven't flown Etihad. Like I flew Etihad back to India in December, and then when I did that, I remembered not to put my pins in my carry-on, and I put them in my big luggage.
Wow. Okay. So they were not little bombs.
Yeah, yeah.
What was your like emotional process? Run me through it.
I was just confused, dude. I'll be honest. Like, it was so like, because I was expecting, usually it's just very uneventful. Like, and up till then, I obviously hadn't been detained anywhere. And like, this was really weird because, I'm in the Middle East. So, like, everyone here is brown. So, and I was going to America and my passport says I'm American. So, if there was any place for me to be detained, I thought, it wouldn't be here. But yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it was
What
a
did your
fake
friends
passport.
say?
My friends were like, what the fuck happened? And I just told them the story and they were like, oh, what the fuck?
Who are your two friends? What are their names?
Nirali, who's like one of my best friends, and this other kid who goes to USC, who I'm very close to, named Dhario. They're both from Bombay, and we didn't plan it. We just all happened to be on this flight back because I guess, it was one of the flights that just worked for kids starting college. And so it was just like I was texting them and we were like, oh my God, haha, we're on the same flight. Cool. We should just like, so we didn't, I think Nirali and I sat together on the flight. Um, we sort of like, I knew Dharia was on a flight, and so we met up at the airport and we were just like together throughout the process.
What is Dharia's last name?
Shah, as if that's the lie.
Okay. I feel like you're telling the truth. 'Cause
Yeah.
I would not think of a story like that.
Are you
My
locking it
dad
in?
has been like in a little detention room before. I
Yeah.
don't know what for, but he's gone that once.
Me too,
Interesting.
actually. Did I tell you
Yeah.
about this, someone?
You haven't. Let's save it for the podcast.
Yeah. But well, I
Arjun, you
can't
have been
really
detained
anymore.
once? Well, yeah.
I wasn't detained. It was just this. I went into America and this giant, like burly dude just messed up my whole bag, searching it, and unfolded all my clothes and everything. And then he just put everything, like he just stuffed it back in and said, "You're good to go." Like I was just called aside. That was scary, but
Yeah, my dad had tea in his bag, and I guess people thought it was like either drugs or something.
Mhm.
Very similar situation.
Yeah.
yeah.
So you've locked in true?
So I think it's true.
So Wendy, I'm sorry to tell you, it's a fake story.
Wow.
My pins have never caused me any issue. I was sort of detained once, but it wasn't under these, not detained, like they just said, oh, extra security, and they took me to a different room. And in that room, I only saw brown men and white women, but the rest of that story is false. There was no checking of the pins. There was no issue with the,
I mean,
immigration.
does that count as changing small details of
No,
the story?
I was just taken to like a slight extra, like it wasn't like
Damn,
a whole
when
room.
Wendy's got you on those rules.
No,
man.
no. This was like the main part of the story was the pins and there was no extra.
You know what I
bag
think we
search.
should do? We should minus a point from Oman and give
No,
it to
that's
Wendy.
I think so. I think the story
No, I
lack
think
of originality.
I think Wendy's going drunk with power because Wendy, your story was also the same. You were on a trip and you said, the major
Okay,
thing happened.
Yeah, so basically, Wendy.
Yeah.
Oman's story is fine. I was just being facetious, but basically, the crux of the story has to be either true or false, which it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So unfortunate, but yeah, you're on 3 points. You're
3 points.
in the lead. So I don't think usually going into the second round we now decide whether we're giving you a chance to get double points or not. We're not giving you a chance to get double points, Wendy, because with the way you're going right now, you're on track to get 6 points. So yeah,
Well, what if I just get 9?
maybe, dude, it's possible.
Maybe I'll get 9 points.
maybe. Is it possible? No, you can get 7 points now. So yeah, game on, dude.
Okay.
Exciting times.
Round 2.
Round 2, Arjun again.
Oh yeah, okay. My turn. So I had 2 stories, but I think this might be a more interesting one to tell. So are you okay, wait, I'll get to that later. So basically this is a story of my little run-in with a celebrity in a big way. Well, I wouldn't say big way, but it's a really like crazy thing that this actually happened. So I was at this place in Atwater Village, right? And I was with my girlfriend, and we had it was like nighttime. It was like dark and everything, and we were at this like bar restaurant type of place, and we were, we had some dinner, we had some drinks, we are kind of chilling. And there was like a live band or something. It was like some jazz something. And I noticed, well, actually, I didn't notice. My girlfriend noticed that there was a specific person in the room. And she like tapped me and she's like, is this person? And I'll tell you the person's name later because I want it to have full impact at the end. But basically, she's like, is this person in the room? And I turned and I was like, oh shit, it is this person in the room. And I kept like kind of looking over at it, and it was like a darkened room, but I was like, there's no way that's that person. But then it was like it was like, holy shit, this is that person. And we were like thinking like, oh, maybe we should get a picture with him, maybe we shouldn't. But Amma knows this about me, is that I don't think it's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not I'm on the party of people that don't believe that we should accost celebrities in their daily lives and stuff. But basically I didn't want to interact with him whatsoever. And I was like, whatever, let's just leave him there. We saw this person, if it was this person at all. And my girlfriend was like, okay, yeah, cool, whatever. And she's not as big a fan of this person. I keep saying this person as I am. But
yeah, give us the name, bro. What do you?
No.
Yeah, this is so much.
No, I want to tell the name at the end because then there's a bit of a a reveal.
Okay.
Anyway, so we have our dinner, we have our drinks, and constantly I'm kind of like looking over at this person behind me, and eventually I decide like I needed to pee before we left, so I go to the urinal and I'm peeing, and I don't know if you know like urinal ethics, Wendy, but basically you're not you're not supposed to stand next to the person when you're peeing. So
What?
if there are let's say there are 5 urinals and I go and I pee in the 5th urinal, I'm supposed to, like, the person who comes in after me is not supposed to pee in the urinal next to me. He's supposed to pee in the 1st urinal, not the 4th urinal. You know what I mean?
Okay, so you just can't pee right next to someone.
Unless it's like, super crowded or an emergency. Like, if there's enough space, it's etiquette not to stand next to the person. Like, if there's 5, why would you go stick to the person when you have your own space,
Okay.
Yeah. So the basic idea is you're not supposed to like stand next to someone while they're peeing, give them their space and stuff. And I was peeing, and it was like, I don't know how many urinals there were, but there were a large amount of urinals in that like restaurant, bar, whatever.
So many urinals in this restaurant.
Okay, there weren't like a lot of, but there were plenty of urinals. Okay. And I was taking my pee at the urinal. Sorry for the whatever. But anyway, I hear the door open and I'm minding my own business. I hear the door open and I hear footsteps, and I feel a presence like literally right next to me. Like, and I was peeing not at the end of the urinal, I was somewhere in the middle-ish, like to the left or whatever, like a couple urinals down. And this guy had come and he was peeing like literally right next to me, dude. And I got really, really like kind of weirded out, right? I tried my best to just not make eye contact or whatever. And I was just peeing. And I peed, I finished up, I zipped my pants up, and I just, walk over to the sink and I'm washing my hands. And then I look up at myself while I'm washing my hands and I see the guy walk out of the urinal place. And it's the person who stood next to me while I was peeing. And I was just like kind of in shock for a second because this is the guy that stood next to me while I was peeing, and like he's also quite a large celebrity. And then I just didn't say anything. I was just kind of like in between being weirded out and being like kind of starstruck for a second. He washes his hand, like he gives me like a slight nod. I like, go back to minding my own business, washing my hand. And then I walk out, I go tell my girlfriend what happened, and we leave the venue. And yeah, and this person's name is John Malkovich.
No, this cannot be real.
Yeah.
Also, you first said it was a woman celebrity.
No,
No.
I didn't say that. If I did, I did not mean a women celebrity.
Why are you a big fan of John Malkovich?
How can you not be a big fan of John Malkovich? Have you seen John Malkovich movies? He's amazing, dude.
What was the name of the restaurant?
I don't know, to be honest. This is a while ago. This is like, I think, sophomore year summer or something. So
What okay, so he just eating at his restaurant bar by himself?
no, I think he was with a group of people, or maybe a couple. I don't know if it was with his, I don't know if he has a family, but he wasn't with like children or women. He was just with a couple dudes, I think. I think he was just with his buddies at a jazz club or whatever, jazz bar.
So John Malkovich with his dudes at a bar.
Yeah, John Malkovich and his homies.
And he doesn't know bathroom etiquette.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, dude, you'd think he would, but
how tall was he?
He was tall. Like he was surprisingly tall, but I don't know, I'm not sure completely because I'm also a tall guy. You've met me, right? In person.
I mean,
so,
yes.
But the thing is, like, I don't register people's height because everyone who's shorter than me is just shorter than me, and everyone who's taller than me is gigantic. So I only really registered if they're like taller than me. He wasn't taller than me. So
how did he look? Did he look like put together? Like what? Like describe his look for me. Like what was he wearing?
He was wearing like a shirt. I'm not sure exactly what, the outfit was, but he was just dressed like a normal, like older gentleman,
How old did he look?
He looked a lot older than he did in the movies though. Like his skin was a little more like wrinkly, especially in the bathroom. Like he didn't look like, very pretty, like how he looked usually. Not saying he's pretty, John Mel, but he looked a little like oldish.
You say he's not pretty, Arjun?
He's a handsome guy, but he's not like the most beautiful person to look at. But I'm saying in the movies he looked a lot better than what he looked in the bathroom. And in the bar, like I couldn't really tell. He just looked like John Malkovich from a distance.
Where were you sitting in the bar and where was he sitting in the bar? Like give me a little diagram.
There was like a band playing in the maybe, okay, let me make this a diagram. There's like a band playing like here, I think. And then I was sitting like, I think here, and he was sitting like over here at the back, and we were all facing this way. And my girlfriend like pointed him like we were looking here, and then she like pointed over there, so I had to like twist my head back to look over there.
Mhm. Okay. Interesting. I feel like there's no way that's true.
Yeah.
But also, it could be a cool celebrity story. I mean, it would be a really cool celebrity story if you did tell the truth.
Yeah.
Like peeing next to John Malkovich. How was his pee? Do you want to describe it real quick?
Tasty, really tasty.
Yeah. Ooh,
No.
spicy.
I at the moment I wasn't like thinking about like his pee or like looking at, because dude, you probably can't relate to this, Wendy, but like you don't want to be peeing next to someone in a urinal. Like it's not cool to, like, you're kind of just trying to focus on yourself, and especially if someone pees right next to you, that's super weird, dude. Like that's actually really weird.
Did he wash his hands afterwards?
Yeah, he washed his hands. Like we washed it together. Like I saw him, he came, I washed, like
They held hands and
Then
stained the dirt.
I drank his pee.
How cute.
No, I did not.
I'm gonna say this is a false story.
Okay.
Yeah,
Are you locking it in?
Yeah.
Okay.
I also think it's a false story, but I think it's a false. Arjun has never told me this story, and we've discussed celebrity sightings quite a bit. I don't know. It's maybe I don't know. I like this is not a story he's told me, so that's why I think it's false. But I don't really know.
Yeah. It's a false story.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. Like there's no way that John Malkovich.
Yeah.
Arjun has had like the one part of the story that was true. I can attest to the fact that Arjun doesn't go up to like celebrities.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I feel like normal people just don't. That just feels so awkward.
okay, see,
Aman does.
Well, no,
he's one of
okay.
those guys that runs up
No,
to celebrities and he's like, "Listen, please, can I have a picture, please, please?"
No, see, Arjun,
he
it
got
depends.
a picture. There's this one time.
It depends. Let me tell the story. Arjun doesn't know the story,
and it was so embarrassing because
it
he
really
just ran
wasn't.
up to these guys. He pushed everyone aside.
That's not what happened.
And then he just demanded a selfie with this one guy.
Arjun is lying on his
super like creeped out, but he still somehow he was like, "All right, fine, let's take this.
Let me
selfie."
tell you what actually happened.
Anyway, moving on. Wendy,
No.
What's a celebrity?
So Arjun and I once saw Christian Bale at Santa Monica, and it was me who said we should not go up to him because he was with his son, and I was like, "Oh, he's with his kid, so then you don't do it." But we also went to this soccer game at this British pub, and this like very famous English football player named Daniel Sturridge, who used to live in LA, now lives in Australia, was there afterward, and I was like, "Bro," and I was a little drunk. And I just went up to him super politely and I was like, "Hey, man, I'm sorry to bother you. I just want to say I'm a super big fan." He was like, "Oh, you know what? I appreciate the support." We high-fived. He said, "I love your jersey." I said, "Thanks, man." He said, "That's some classic shit." I said, "Yeah." I said, "Do you mind if I get a photo?" He's like, "Of course, no worries." We got a photo. I said, "Thank you, my guy." We high-fived again and I left. It was so polite. It was so sweet. Okay,
that's the story from Aman's perspective.
Arjun wasn't there. Arjun was such a pussy. He just ran away.
No, is when Daniel Sturridge comes out off the road. Aman goes up to, like, he tries to scurry his way, but he's like trying to get away from the crowd. He goes to the parking lot. Aman like pushes his way into his group.
I didn't push my way.
I leave. I'm like, I'm not gonna be a part of this. And he's like, "Can I?" And I can see him, like, he's holding his phone and he's like demanding a selfie from this guy.
That's not really
the poor guy just is like, "Okay, whatever, I'll take it."
Arjun's just trying to justify this in his head because for some reason he doesn't believe people can have regular conversation.
Aman was totally.
I'm so polite. I was drunk.
Just messy. No, yeah, it was totally fine.
But Arjun,
he's not even a big football guy. Aman told me afterward that
he's won
was
2
like,
Champions Leagues though.
Really? You told me afterward that nobody really wants him in the team.
Yeah, well now that's why it's sad. No one wanted him in the English league, which is why he was in LA. But he had won 2 champions. Like he was like, if anyone who knows football knows, like, okay. But here's the thing, Arjun, I don't know. Are you saving the like other celebrity story for a different podcast? And I won't tell it.
No.
You guys should save it. Oh no.
It's a short story. It's not big enough to really. So basically, I ran into Jordan Peele at at a random farmer's market, and I didn't want to I didn't want to make him uncomfortable and be super, or just, even so I just, I was like, hey, what's up? And he was like, hey, how's it going, man? And that's it. It was just a super clean, super simple interaction. Like, he could tell that I knew who he was, and I was super excited, and he was just like super polite about it. And I think that's the best way to interact with the celebrity.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
depends. Like I saw Shaquille O'Neal at a hookah bar, and I didn't go up to him, right? Because I think there's a time and place, and I think there's like you just gotta like find the time. Like if you're with your kid, if you're eating, if you're like doing something, I'm not gonna bother you. But if you're on the road and you don't seem too busy, I'll be polite. If you're clearly in a hurry or something, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy that I haven't had like really any celebrity run-ins like ever.
Yeah, my first one was Shaquille O'Neal at this hookah bar. And then my girlfriend and I saw Charlie D'Amelio and her family driving down Melrose in a top-down Rolls Royce that had Triller license plates on it, and it was crazy because
Oh my God.
we were the Melrose Trading Post.
Yes.
So we just left the trading post. We were walking up and down Melrose, and then we were ready to go home. And so we were like off Melrose, we were on one of those like smaller streets, just waiting at the corner, waiting for a Uber or Lyft or whatever. And she's checking her phone, and suddenly it's just us. The road is basically like the people on Melrose. Obviously, there's no one on this like smaller off road or whatever. And I just see this like really fancy Rolls Royce drive up to the signal there. And I look up and I'm like, that dude who's driving looks so familiar. And then I look to the side, I'm like, that woman he's with looks so familiar. And I look to the back and I'm like, that's Charlie D'Amelio's family, right? And so I just look at my girlfriend, I was like, I look up. And she looks up and I'm like, we just make eye contact with them. We don't say anything. They don't say anything. And then they just drive off. And then we see them like while waiting for our Uber, which came like 5 minutes later. We saw them driving up and down Melrose for a bit. Yeah, that was it.
They were just
Wow.
driving up and down Melrose
In
waiting
this
for
fancy
people.
Driving up
car.
again in
Yeah.
their fancy top-down car.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was wild.
Anyway,
Anyway,
but
sorry.
wait,
Yeah.
before we
Nighttime.
finish the celebrity thing, I just want to say I saw Tyler the Creator as well outside a donut shop
That's
somewhere
wild.
around Melrose.
Oh wait, I saw Tyler the Creator once at Melrose Trading
Oh.
Post. I forgot about that. Oh my God.
Oh, there
That
you
was
go. There you go, Wendy.
I was like in high school. A long time ago. Oh my God, wow. And he didn't say anything. Like my friend was like, hey, what's up? Like your music. Ignored us.
I know.
So
Yeah, that's why
Yeah.
you don't want to say hi to celebrities because they can be
Yeah.
mean too. Anyway,
Exactly.
sorry. Let's hear your story.
Okay. My second story involves a little bit of drug use. Not really drugs. Do you consider magical mushrooms drugs? Because I don't.
Yeah. No. It's totally cool. This podcast is totally like I told a story recently involving Schedule 1 substances. So
Yeah, we've had a lot of drug stories.
Okay, so yes,
But
so
it's completely up to you if you want this out there or not.
yeah, no, this is I think my most, I'd say, iconic shroom story. I was with my friend Sam and my friend Jamie, but she's not really relevant to this story. We were at an Airbnb in Yosemite, or just NorCal-ish area. And then we did shrooms. It was actually really recent. It was this past March. And then Sam and we all did shrooms together. But then we lived in one of those like gated communities where it's just like kind of this one big like community that's like built into the side of the mountain, and there's a big lake in the middle. This was an Airbnb. And then like once we're tripping, Simon's like, we need to go to the lake. We need to walk to the lake because I want to be in the water right now. So Jamie's like, I cannot walk to the lake. And Sam and I embark our journey to walk to the lake. Little do we know the lake is actually kind of far away. And then we walked for like 10 minutes on this trip. I got tired. I was like, there's no way I'm making to the lake. But we're so determined. We took a break. So we sat down on the side of the road. It's this like patch of grass. It was kind of like a little bit of ditch. And then we sat down and we saw this family of deer just like walk by, like passed us to this like kind of this foresty but like really bright area on top. We're like, holy shit, there's a group of deer, we need to follow them. So we got up from our little nap, or not nap, our break, and we climbed up the side of the hill up to these like foresty trees to follow this group of deer. And then we went up and it was a fucking golf course. And then we were like, this fucking sucks. Why do you need a golf course in the middle of this really nice naturey area? Capitalism sucks. So we had a big moment up there. And then we saw this one guy like golfing by himself and we started heckling him.
What time was this?
It was like really like midday, like probably like 2-3 p.m. It was like swimming, like in the lake swimming time. It was like not that hot because it was March, so it was like really chill. And then this golf course started rolling around, and then we just got really mad at these like rich people building golf courses in nature. And we're heckling this guy. We're like, if you want to go see nature, go on the fucking trail instead of hiking by yourself. It's so sad. I don't think he really heard us. Maybe he did, but we were being loud about it. After like rolling around in the grass, we're like, okay, we should probably go to the lake. So we went back to our journey to the lake, but we don't want to like walk all the way down to the path to this like really steep hill. It was like a 45-degree hill that we climbed on. And we're like, okay, well, these houses seem kind of empty around the golf course. What if we just go through someone's backyard that's like connected to the golf course and leave? We were so convinced that no one lived in these houses. It all looked so empty. So we walked down this steep hill to like the front of this house, and then we saw this like front of this guy's house, and it looks really fancy. It was like, what if we went up to his balcony just to check the house out? So my friend Sam and I, we're still tripping on shrooms by this point. We climb all the way up to these like stairs that leads to the front door of this guy's house. And we started just like being mad at like rich people. I don't know. Or being really mean. And then we looked inside and a guy stood up from the couch and Sam yelled, "Someone's in here." And we just ran. I ran as fast as I could. Like, it was scary. And then we ran down this big hill down to like the big streets and kept running for a while towards the lake. And then after a while, I was like, okay, this guy's probably not chasing us. And then we went to the lake. So that's my story. Almost breaking into someone's house.
Where was Jamie through all this? Was that her name?
Oh, Jamie was just high out of her mind back in our Airbnb.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wait, so you were going to enter this house? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, we didn't like want to enter this house. We just wanted to check out the house and we wanted to take a picture. I think we just wanted to like, we wanted to go up and take a picture in front of this mansion. But yeah, we didn't do any of that.
You know what? Again, for some reason, I buy it, dude. Like, I don't
Yeah,
really...
it seems like a very true story.
Yeah, I don't see any holes in this.
Yeah, but I didn't break it. I didn't get in trouble. Not in trouble this time.
You know why I think it's true also? I mean, even though this sounds like the story sounds kind of ridiculous, is I think because you started off by saying like this is one of my most iconic mushroom stories.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking like you wouldn't start a false story like that.
Yeah, unless you're really playing us, but yeah, I think so too.
I feel like I have what?
I'm locking in too, dude. I'm just.
You're locking in true. I haven't even asked any questions.
You haven't asked me any questions yet.
I'm just convinced it's true.
Yeah. My story.
Yeah.
Really exciting.
Yeah, I think it's a true story. I mean, Arjun's gonna ask some questions. Maybe I'll change my mind, but I just don't even know what to ask questions about. Like,
what was the dosage of the mushrooms?
Oh, 1.2 milligrams. A standard dosage.
How often do you take mushrooms?
Like once every few months.
Really?
Like a lot during the pandemic. This
Where did-
happened to
Where did
Indians.
you get the mushrooms from?
Oh, it's a drug dealer
Okay,
from
don't say his name. We don't want to be snitches.
no. It's like a WhatsApp connection.
Where did you get the
Oh.
mushrooms from? A drug dealer.
A
Who would
drug
have
dealer.
thought?
No. It's a drug dealer. My roommate recommended me, and they use WhatsApp only.
Would
I'll
you?
give you the number if you want.
Yeah, can you give me the number?
Yeah, it's
I'm good for all the law enforcement listening.
I'm just kidding. But actually, give me the number. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah.
Am I? No, I'm just kidding. No. No, but so how did you take the mushrooms? Did you just eat them? What is it? Peanut butter, lemon tincture? What was it?
It was like mushroom chocolate. It was like edible
Hmm.
mushrooms. We just ate it. We chopped it with a knife.
You chopped it with a knife. Edible
Yeah.
mushroom chocolate. Do you know the
Yeah.
brand of the mushroom chocolate?
It didn't have a brand on the package. It said like,
Really?
yeah.
So it was homemade edible mushroom chocolate?
No, it was not homemade, but it's like it came in a square box, and like it just said like dark chocolate on it. It didn't have any
How many
brand.
squares, like how many squares of mushroom did you have?
I had 2 squares of mushrooms. It was
So
like
that's that would be 2 grams, right? Why are you unsure about the dose?
no, but I feel like the whole thing wasn't like oh wait, maybe it was 2 grams.
Oh,
It was 2 grams.
I think
We
I'm tripping
shared-
you up there a little
Yeah,
bit.
you're falling apart a little bit here, Wendy.
It was 2 grams. We shared 6 grams. Now I remember. We shared 6 grams.
Oh, now you
Oh,
remember.
now you-
Yes,
Hmm.
one chocolate is 6 grams.
So how big was this bar?
It was like this, like I
It
don't
was
know,
a
like
6-gram bar of chocolate.
it was 6-gram bars of chocolate, and it's like the size of like a credit card.
Interesting.
Interesting.
See, here's the problem. I know nothing about mushrooms, so everything you're saying, I'm like, okay, so Arjun's like my only point of reference to like find out if you're true or false.
I'm just a little sus that I don't know, it just feels like you're not very clear on the details of the mushrooms and stuff.
Yeah,
How much
man.
did this cost? That I'll be able to tell whether you did this or not based on the price.
How much it cost? Oh my god.
How much did that bar of chocolate cost?
$20 sounds too little. I think
Okay.
Okay, no. It was not
Wendy.
$20. 60. No,
Good
I
guess.
think
That's a good guess.
yeah, well, okay. I didn't get a chocolate. My roommate got it for
Oh,
us.
How much did you pay your roommate?
I remember paying something between $10 and $20. That
you
seems
have
like standard
any idea
price.
how sus you sound right now?
No,
You
no,
said
I
Sus as hell. You're trying
Yeah.
to guess the
It
price
was-
at first, and you're like, oh no, wait, my roommate
no,
got
no,
it.
my roommate got it. It was like a whole bar of chocolate. That was
Wendy, if this is a true story, you've done a terrible job of that. I'm not gonna lie, because I was convinced it was true. And
Yeah. Now
with
I'm
every
like,
passing word, I'm not.
no, it was $20. No, I remember
the whole chocolate was $20. You paid $20.
I paid
Each.
$20.
Each. So
Yeah,
you
each was 20. So 3 times 2, 6, 60.
that the math there is sound. I agree with it. 3
Yeah.
times 2.
In terms of the math, in terms of the actual logarithmic 3 times 2, you check out, but everything else is
Sauce, yeah.
sus as
No,
hell.
it was chocolate. It was real chocolate.
No, I mean I believe the chocolate part, but just the way that you've been talking about this.
What's your roommate's name?
My roommate's name, their name is Milner. I don't know if you know that
Yeah.
person.
And
No,
they sold you the mushroom chocolate.
Yeah, I remember it's from them.
did they make a profit
No.
How did they source it?
from the WhatsApp?
From the
drug dealer?
WhatsApp
from the WhatsApp
connection.
dealer, right.
Yeah.
Wendy, I believed you, And for some reason now I don't believe you.
Yeah, me too, honestly. The whole thing about but you know what? I think the story still holds up. I'm not sure. I'm not so
Yeah,
sure about
same.
this.
You know what? I'm still gonna lock in true. I will still lock in true.
I'm lucky and true, so maybe you should lock in
Lock in
false,
false.
Alan. But I don't know. I don't
Nah,
want to
fuck
like.
it. I'm locking in true. So maybe you got us both.
Um. All right, I'll lock in true as well.
Locking true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a true story.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah.
You almost got us to not. Were you pretending, or do you actually not know what the
No,
price
I
was?
actually forgot. Like, I think it was God. I was like, oh my God, the details.
The
Also, I
devil's in the
remember it was like
details.
shroom leftover from our previous trip. Oh my God, there's so many. There were mushrooms involved.
I kind of I realize now that like it's more believable that you don't know that much about the logistics of the
The
mushrooms.
details, because I was like, what?
Yeah.
It was the way you told the story, like just the way you told it. It didn't seem like you were trying to lie. It just didn't seem like there was a thought, like a force that I was like, oh, I could change this. It just felt like a very true chain of events,
Yeah,
which is why I bought it. Um,
Yeah. Well played though.
but that was one of my
Almost.
most iconic shroom trips. I think that's the only shrooms trip that did anything crazy.
yeah,
So
interesting.
That's the yeah. No, I think you would have played this well if you were faking the part where you're kind of forgetting the mushroom prices and stuff. But maybe that was like, a well played thing in the sense
playing.
as well. So
Yeah.
good job.
Okay, so that means the points now, Wendy, you are on 4 points, and I'm on two, and Arjun's on one, I think. But what that also means is, oh, am I on two? Yeah, I'm on two,
Yeah,
right?
you're on two.
You're on one, you're on four. That means if you guess my story correctly, you tie with Diksha. If you don't, you're still in respectable second place.
Okay.
You're still respectable tied for first place, you mean?
No, if she doesn't get it right, because she only has 4 points. Diksha had
Oh, right,
five.
right. That's right. That's right. Oh,
I
she
would
has
be,
to
yeah.
tie with first place to get. Okay,
Well,
okay.
Yeah.
regardless, Zoom is really.
Yeah, it's really doing well.
Should we
So-
daily double this though, just so that Wendy has a shot at the throne?
I mean, it doesn't count though, then, because we didn't give Diksha the same opportunity.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
You know what I mean? We can still daily double it, but it
Yeah,
also, she's already won like versus the two of us, right? Because even if I get this correct, it's only three.
fair enough. Fair enough.
So, okay, this is the story of how I met my girlfriend. And so, um, the reason I'm telling this story is because we met during the lockdown, which is not a time you'd usually expect to meet someone, and it's sort of rom-com adjacent. So, I think it's interesting enough to tell. But basically, I got out of like, um,
But
oh,
wait, tell her the backstory of the. So Aman is
well, don't
gonna.
tell her, don't tell her,
Okay.
don't,
Okay.
because that gives information whether this is true or false. I think.
Okay.
So I'll tell you the backstory later. But basically, you know this because when I was working on the order, I had just gotten out of like a long-term relationship.
Yes, on the order, I remember that.
Yeah. So, uh, yeah, those were dark times for big NATO, but it's okay. So anyway, so I go back to Bombay for because of the pandemic in March of 2020, and it's on complete lockdown. You can't really leave. Like you weren't really allowed to leave your building. Like you couldn't even go for like a walk or something. Like the only people who could really leave like were my parents initially. Like the whole country, we had like a curfew and shit. Like after a certain time, you could like you could even exit your building for like if you needed to exercise, you had to exercise in your building or in your house. So in Bombay, like it's a big densely populated city, so most people live in like apartment buildings in like flats, apartments basically. Most people don't have like houses, as most people do here. And so um, so most of March or April or whatever, I was like, we weren't really leaving. And they kept on extending the lockdown and the curfew, blah blah blah. And so um eventually you can only sort of meet people who lived in the same building as you. Now you might be wondering, oh, so your girlfriend lived in the same building as you? Not exactly. So my girlfriend had family that lived in the same building as her. And what happened was, so she comes from, her family's from a part of India that's a little bit more remote than Bombay. She's from Indore, which is like this place in Mysore. No, yeah, no. Where is Indore? Why am I messing this up?
Isn't Indore in like Uttar Pradesh or Madhya Pradesh or something?
Madhya Pradesh. My
Yeah.
bad. I don't know. I'm sorry. That was like a proper brain fart. So Indore is in Madhya Pradesh, and so
Story's false. I said it. I called it.
so anyway, so it does about that. So what had happened was like when the thing was like locking down or whatever, she was visiting like family in Bombay who lived in my building. Oh no, so like
Wait, so you're saying your girlfriend and her family lived in Indore, and
so
then
my girlfriend's family was in India and she was in Boston, okay, and then she flew back. So visiting when the lockdown happened. So when she flew back to India, so what ended up happening was I flew back to India like March 16th or something, and like 5 days later, he put in like a full lockdown. But they'd already started to close down the borders. So around the same time that I flew back, she also flew back, but she flew back to Bombay because there's no direct flight from Boston or New York to India. So usually fly to Bombay, then you take another flight. But she just flew to Bombay, and since she had like close family in Bombay, she decided to just stay with them. And then before she could go back to like Indore or whatever, they closed down all domestic flights. So she was basically stuck in Bombay, and by proxy, she was stuck in my apartment building. So the way my apartment building works, we have a north wing and a south wing. Okay, and so her like cousins or whatever, her aunt lived in the south wing. Okay, and so I never met her before, but around like May or whatever, my building decides, okay, we can't really exit the building, but we can meet people like in the building. And we hadn't had any like COVID cases in a while. And so they said, okay, let's do like a thing on our terrace where you could go to your terrace and like, it'll be like like basically a morale booster, right? Because everyone was so stuck in or whatever. So they threw this party on this terrace and like, I would not have admitted this at the time, but like now in like hindsight, it's like it really felt straight out of a rom com, right? Like I go to this terrace and I'm not expecting to like fall in love or whatever, but like I see this girl I don't recognize and like I'm instantly like smitten, like I instantly have a crush on this girl, and so eventually people like my mom is like, oh, so people are chatting, blah blah blah. I just keep glancing over at her. I don't really have the balls to go up to her or whatever. And eventually someone like my mom goes, oh, I want to come here, I want you to meet Inaya, which is my girlfriend's name, because oh, she's also your year and she studies in America just like you do. And so I use this as an opportunity. We start talking. She goes to Northeastern. We have a lot of common friends. It's like, okay, amazing, ha ha ha. And like again, it was like everything was perfect. I we like follow each other on Twitter because surprisingly we were both mainly using Twitter as our primary social media at the time. We weren't using Instagram, and she like we've had like this really good conversation, and so she like a few days later she sends me like a meme on Twitter based on something we were talking about, and it was like about cats versus dogs. Like it was about cat lovers versus dog lovers because she has a bunch of cats back home, and I'm also whatever a cat person, I would say. And so Wendy just looks so annoyed by the fact that I'm a cat person seemingly. But yeah, no, so yeah, and then we just start talking, and then we DM for a while, and then I sort of build up the courage to say, oh, do you want to like go for a walk or something one of these days, just like around the building. And so then we just start hanging out around the building. And she can drive and I couldn't. So she used to like take her aunt's car out because you could go get groceries or whatever sometimes, or like for emergencies. So um then she was like, once they started eased up restrictions in the building as well, she was like, oh, do you want to go for a drive? And so then we started going for like these like nightly drives or whatever, and we would just like do quick spin around like the neighborhood or whatever. And yeah, eventually like one of these nights we sort of kissed, and then unfortunately like she was going back to Boston like for this semester, for like fall semester of our senior year, and I wasn't. And so when she left, I was like, okay, it's been like a good sort of dip back into romance or whatever, but we can't do long distance or whatever. We're not really gonna date. And so she heads back to college, and I thought, oh, we'd eventually lose touch or whatever. But surprisingly, we stay in touch, and then she comes back in December, and like we just we pick up where we left off. And then by the time we were both going back in January, I was like, you know what, let's do this. Because by in December she was sort of ready to do long distance, and it was still taking me a bit of time. And at the end of it, I was like, you know what, fuck it, let's do it. And so yeah, we've been dating since January 12th, 2021, and it's been um 10 or like almost 11 months now.
Oh wow, that's so
Yeah.
cute. Yeah, I think this is a true story. I don't think
Yeah.
you're lying. I don't think you would lie about. I mean, there's so many elements of the story. If you're lying about all of it, then like,
Yeah.
like what's her name?
Her name's
Inaya. Oh,
Inaya.
Inaya.
Yeah.
What does she study?
She's a marketing major at Northeastern, communications minor.
Communications minor. Okay.
Yeah.
What year? Oh, she's are your
So
You're
she's
my
high.
year.
Yeah,
Which-
I graduated in May of 2021, but she's actually graduating at the end of the year because at Northeastern they have this thing called a co-op, and so she did like a second co-op, so she has an extra semester. She worked at Reebok last semester. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think I know what co-ops are.
hmm
She knows what co-ops are. The story checks out,
So it checks out, makes sense. Yep. Yeah, does she like does she visit you at times? Like
Yeah,
how's
she was just here. She was on the last episode of the podcast. She's been here. I go to Boston. I'm going to Boston um later this month. My brother also happens to study in Boston, so it works out both ways. Like, yeah, we've seen each other every month since we've started dating, basically. Here and there. Like maybe sometimes a little over a month, but yeah. More or less every month.
Arjun, have you met her?
I have met her, yeah.
That's all
Okay.
he can tell you. He can't add any details.
That's not have you heard about how Aman met
He
his
knows
girlfriend?
whether this story is true or false. Yeah.
He
He's
knows.
my roommate, so he's heard the story.
Okay, so you've been dating for 10 months.
Yeah.
What was the date again?
January 12th.
January 12th?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any plans for your, I don't know,
1
anniversary?
year. So unfortunately, well, this really sucks. She's not coming home because of like a visa thing, because she's just graduating. So she's not going to be home in December, but I'm going back to Bombay. And so we're not going to be in the same country, unfortunately. Otherwise, we would have done something. But I guess, we've done long distance so long. We might as well we'll have a long distance anniversary, probably a Zoom, But yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Well, that's really sad.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but
That's
it is
very
what it is.
unfortunate. Yeah.
Mhm.
Arjun, what's your first impression of Inaya?
Am I allowed to say?
No, let him not say anything because I don't want him to accidentally reveal anything extra. So once you lock in an answer, you can ask me questions.
No, I want the first impression answer.
But okay, sure. Don't I mean I'll just
I mean, she was nice, so I don't know what else to say, bro.
he met her like super early in our relation, like Feb.
I've met her a couple times, yeah.
Yeah.
Couple of times.
Yeah.
Way more than a couple times now. Like,
Okay, so this girlfriend is real.
yeah. That part of the story
Yeah.
isn't
That part's
true or
very
false.
real. Okay.
Yeah.
The true
what
or
was
false
your-
is how he met her, right?
Okay, true. What was your first impression of her?
Mine?
Yeah.
I told you, right? Like she walked up on the terrace party and I just thought she was really cute. And then we really hit it off. We have a lot of similar interests and stuff.
Like what?
So a lot of common TV shows we loved. So BoJack Horseman was one of the things we initially bonded about. And then like How I Met Your Mother, she's a big fan of. And so I'm a big fan of Lego and stuff. Like I collect and build Lego a lot. And like when I brought this up to her, she was like, oh, she wasn't like an avid Lego fan at the time, but she was like, growing up, I really loved it. Like my parents got sick of it. And since we've been dating, she started to build Lego with me. In fact, I'm literally looking at 2 sets right now that we built together. So yeah.
What was your first day?
Date. I mean, so it wasn't really a date. Like we were talking, and then our first like time hanging out outside of like adult supervision, I guess, if that's what you call it, is we were just like walking around my building and just like because you couldn't really do much, so we were just hanging out and like we have like a basketball court and just like chatting and chilling and walking. Yeah.
Yeah, which floor does she live on?
So she lives in. So I'm on the north wing on the 8th floor. She's on the south wing. Her family lives on the 4th floor, like her aunt.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna lock in. This is a true story.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Arjun knows this. That's a completely false story
Oh
about
my
him.
God. What?
So the backstory that Arjun wasn't going to give you is I'm doing this thing where I tell different versions of how me and my girlfriend met on like many. So on if you had heard the episode with Julian, Julian from USC
Yeah.
that Julian was on, I told a version of how me and Anaya met that involved like her running this like her being like working on this data science project where she was trying to like find people were the perfect match for love and how we ended up falling in love. And now I've told you the story, but again, that's not the story of how we actually met.
Oh my God.
The story of how we actually met now just might seem boring in comparison, but I will tell it eventually, maybe one day on the podcast. But
Oh my God. What a liar.
Yeah, no. I
Yeah.
think honestly, I think you're writing the line of like the first rule of like
Why?
just changing like details.
No, the whole story. I mean, if it's about Inaya, everything I said was true. But
yeah.
she-
like
she-
everything you said is true, like even like the
No.
Twitter
But
stuff
just-
and
yeah.
No. So her family's not from Indore. She has no family in my building. We never met in person until December of 2020. What is Arjun talking about? We didn't
I
kiss
don't know,
until
bro.
Arjun's capping. This was very fake.
I mean, you're writing the line is what I'm saying.
I
But
disagree on this.
fair
I
enough.
thought I was writing the line more on the last story than this one.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's a good story. I mean, you should
Well,
write
yeah.
it and maybe make it into a movie.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, fun story. I think it's also a bit of a cheat code because whenever Aman tells the story, it's a super cute romantic thing. And our guests are always like, oh no, that has to be
Oh,
true.
Like he wouldn't lie about that.
They want it
but
to be
no.
true,
Yeah.
Little do they know Aman's a heartless bastard.
Yeah. Never could I guess.
Yeah. But yeah. So
Yeah, there
we
we
have
go.
actually been dating for like almost a year. Like that part is true. And she will actually not be coming home in December. That part was true. But that's not the real story. That was just you asking me things.
I guess
About her.
not. Well,
Yeah.
It's like you're stuck at 4 points, Wendy.
I am stuck in
Unfortunately.
1
But
point after
That's the
Diksha.
highest anybody's ever made besides Diksha without
Really? Wow.
double points in the second round.
Yeah, you did really well because you fooled both of us in the first round and you guessed both of Arjun's if it was true or false.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, just your stories. Maybe you're just good a
Just my
liar.
stories, yeah. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but yeah.
Lying about how you met your girlfriend. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
it's
sounds so
fucked up,
psychotic,
man.
especially because I've done it twice now and they were vastly different stories.
Yeah, maybe you're just having different, just I don't know, fantasies.
Once we stop recording, I'll tell you the real story if you want. It's
Okay.
less
Maybe both these
dramatic.
stories are actually true, but they're with
Maybe
other
one
women.
of these days. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now people like don't know the real stories, so every time it could be real or false.
Yeah, that's the fun game I'm trying to play here. So let's
Yeah.
see, we'll find out.
Okay. Wow.
Okay, well, yeah, great. Another episode 8. We had a great time with Wendy. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Wendy. Thank
Yeah,
you
it's
for
been really fun. Thank you for
across the
having me.
pond is very exciting, I think.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about anything you're doing, like the anime podcast that you will be
Mhm.
Oh my
releasing soon?
God. Well, like I don't know if it's really are you know Rudy, right?
Yeah.
Rudy's one of my roommates from back when we were in school. We started an anime podcast of 2 episodes. What's gonna happen to them? Who knows? So we'll find out. Maybe we'll pick it back up when I move back next summer.
Yeah, you guys should have Arjun on the podcast. He's a huge anime fan.
Yeah, I know. Like we were
Yeah.
planning episodes and we're thinking about potential guests.
Yeah.
I feel like we might have thrown your name around because I'm not gonna say much about our concept, but
Okay.
once we sort things out more, maybe I'll text him right now. But yeah, stay tuned for maybe a future anime podcast.
Yeah, from Wendy. Let's go.
Wendy, yeah, sounds good. And what's your Instagram, your Twitter, your TikTok, any
Oh my
socials?
god. Follow
You don't-
me on
Okay.
Instagram at Girlballs Power Hour. I'll follow back. Yeah.
Maybe
Amazing.
she might follow back.
If
We'll
you're
see.
not, if you don't seem weird, she'll follow back. Or maybe if
Yeah.
you seem weird, she'll follow back. We don't know her life.
Yeah. Who knows?
But yeah, thank you for being on, Wendy. Amazing.
Yay. Thank you. It's been
All right.
great.
Let's end it. Episode 8. Thank you for listening, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.